So let's take a look at the conflict life cycle. So just like anything else, conflicts also have a life cycle where there's a beginning and there's an ending. The conflict life cycle was presented by Louis Kreisberg. So remember that name, that's important. So the conflict life cycle explains the different stages of a conflict. So there's a graph that you can find in the notes that you all need to memorize and draw if you're writing an answer on this area. So it's a graph that starts from the bottom, then it gradually goes up, it reaches a peak point, and it comes down in a parallel line. It comes back to the bottom. So in this graph, in the beginning, we start with the root cause. The root cause means every conflict has a root cause. When you look at it, there's a root cause which has been the reason behind the entire conflict. There's an academic name for this, which is the latent conflict. So after the root cause, then you have conflict formation. Conflict formation basically means, so now that the root cause has been avoided, ignored, that the conflict is actually formed. So you have conflict formation. Following that, you have the escalation. The graph starts going up. So escalation is the time that the conflict turns quite violent. The war can come in, and the parties of the conflict aggressively attack each other. So after the escalation, it reaches a peak point, and we call this the mutually hurting stalemate. This is the situation where it is a stalemate. So people who are familiar with chess terminology, you guys know in chess, if you want to win, you need a checkmate, and a stalemate means something like a tie. There's no clear winner. So it's a stalemate in the conflict. There's no clear winner, and it's a mutually hurting stalemate. Both parties have been hit, and both parties have taken a toll, and both parties are tired, and it's a stalemate. It's a tie. There's no clear winner, where both parties sort of lose their energy and the conflict start de-escalating. So by this time, parties consider peace talking. So they consider peace talks, and following that, the conflict is terminated. So after the termination of the conflict, you need to have post-conflict peace building. This step is really important because it is necessary to prevent another conflict from occurring based on the same root cause. Right, so based on this life cycle, we can divide the stages of a conflict into 5 basic stages. First, you have the preconditions. Number 2, you have the emergence. Number 3, you have escalation. Number 4, de-escalation. And number 5, the termination. So precondition means the root cause, and when you can clearly see that there's a root cause and a conflict is most likely to occur. And following that, once these root causes are sort of ignored and avoided, then what happens is the conflict actually gets formed. So you call that the emergence, the stage of emergence. Then of course we studied about escalation, how the conflict turns violent. And once it reaches that mutually hurting stalemate, that's a turning point between the third stage and the fourth stage. The mutually hurting stalemate is a turning point. From that point onwards, it comes to the de-escalation. The mutually hurting stalemate is also known as the deadlock. You call it a deadlock, where both parties have sort of in a locked situation. There's no turning back. And after that, you come to the termination of the conflict, where the conflict is finally concluded. And following that, it is important to have post-conflict peace building, since it is necessary to prevent another conflict from being occurred based on the same root cause.